Mike, good to see you.
Good to see you.
How are you?
Honestly, overwhelmed. It's really busy at the moment. I don't know which way to turn.
Oh, right. Okay. Is that because of the year end? Is that?
It's work. Yeah, it happens every year. So busy, just trying to do everything, keep all the clients happy, and there just aren't enough hours in the day.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess if you like, we can explore that. But just before we do, how did you get on with the objectives we set last time, last session we had? You were can you remember what that
Yeah,
was?
we were looking at potentially a new website, which I sorely need, but this is going to be after the year end. I think I've found a company. I think I've found a company to actually develop a new website. But as I say, this is going to be after all the craziness of the next few weeks is done.
Okay. Well, some good news anyway that you found
Yes.
somebody to actually start on their website. So
Yeah.
no, I look forward to seeing that come together. So as we sort of got some time today, I appreciate taking obviously time for our session today. What would be a good use of your time for our time today? What would be good use of that?
Honestly, looking at how I can get through the next few weeks, I think strategy or planning, there just aren't enough hours in the day. I'm just overwhelmed all the time, trying to do everything, and deadlines are slipping. I'm not getting back to clients in time, and I'm really I just feel overwhelmed with that.
Okay. Wow. And how long has this been building? How long has this been?
Honestly, it builds every year in the run up to tax year end. So the last couple of months, as we come into that deadline, it gets busier and the hours get longer and the days get longer. So it happens periodically, but I'm really into that period now.
Okay. How is this affecting other aspects of your life, if at all?
Oh, long. You should be talking to my wife. Okay. Long days. This is 6 days a week now. I'm working weekends, Saturday, which I never usually work Saturdays. In the week into the evening, sometimes 8, 9, occasionally 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Just to get something finished, because I know when I come in the next day, it's just going to build up again. So yeah, really, it's tough at home. It's tough with relationship with my wife. She really doesn't like it.
Okay.
I'm not getting time to see friends or to play football. Yeah, it's tough.
Okay. So what would be useful in our time today? What would be helpful for you to look at today, explore today?
Possibly just to look at how I can claim some of my time back.
Right.
Maybe have a strategy or something just to get through this.
Okay.
Still feeling kind of like me, still feeling human.
Right. Okay. So if we work towards, say, ending with some sort of plan or strategies, you've said, to move forward on to work on, would that be a good use of your?
I think just seeing where I can claim some of the time back. So I just don't feel so overwhelmed.
Right. Okay. So just so I get a real understanding of it, feeling overwhelmed right now, if you just say on a score of 1 to 10, where would you say that you currently are on sort of overwhelm, if you like? 10 being really overwhelmed and 1 or 2 being very low.
So 10 being overwhelmed. Gosh. Depending on the time of the day. At the moment, talking to you, I'm probably an 8.
Right.
6, 7 o'clock in the evening when I'm going to be there for a couple of hours, it's probably closer to a 10.
Okay. Right. So by the end of this session today, where would be useful to get to as a sort of a score of 1 to 10?
I'm a middling kind of guy, so probably a 5 would be great.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. So I'd just like to explore this area a little bit more. You say it's coming up to year end, which I'm aware of. What makes this time of year particularly busy for you then?
It's when all of my clients need to get their investments, the ISA top-ups, everything in place before they run out of time. And then it's something we can't, they can't go back on and then use those limits, those allocations. Once the date has passed,
Right.
they're into the next year. And so the pressure is to get all of my clients, of which there's a few hundred of them, over the line, so that they're not going to be emailing me the next day or the week later saying, "Can we do this?" Because then it will be too late.
Okay. So you got your things to do for the end of the year, and I say when you say tax year, you mean the sort of the end of March into April. Is that?
You got it. Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that the only thing? I mean, is there anything else going on as well as that at all? Anything else?
Well, that's the nub of it. But of course, it's about contacting the clients, them contacting me, responding to emails, looking at the various investments, their allocations.
Right.
There's a lot of work that I need to do as the financial advisor,
Okay.
that my assistant can't do.
Right.
And I tend to find myself doing a lot of what she does as well.
Okay.
So as I say, I'm just kind of, it feels like I'm spreading it too thinly at the moment.
Right. Okay. So you say you have an assistant, which I know because I met Anna when
Yes,
I came
Anna.
in this morning. But have you explored Anna doing more of this for you and taking some of this weight off your shoulders at all?
Anna's brilliant in that she's a lovely human being and a great person to work with, part-time. And honestly, she's not that good at doing all this other stuff.
Right. Okay. Can I ask how do you know that? How have you come to that opinion?
Just things like, for example, when she takes a call, she just routes it through to me without exploring it.
Okay.
She is very reluctant. She's shy on the phone, so she doesn't like calling clients.
Right.
Emails, she forwards to me rather than responding. If it's just booking appointments or if a client is asking a specific question about maybe one of their accounts, she could give that information. But again, she routes it through to me. And so I find myself, even though, as I say, she's lovely, I find myself doing her job. I'm managing her and doing her job as well as trying to do mine as well. And I'm really busy right now.
Right. Okay. So what else have you looked at or to try and eradicate some of this situation that you're in right now?
I did think about possibly employing another assistant, but again, this would just add even more overwhelm onto my day. Just looking at financially, can we afford to do that? And if we could, how could I train that person up? Or could I somehow help Anna become more effective in what she does?
Okay. Anything else you've looked at all? Anything else?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really for now.
No, I can understand that.
Yeah.
So where we're at is busy at the moment. You've looked at various routes and things like that, but it's still stressful. It's still a lot of work to do at this busy time, which I guess is good because it obviously shows that you're good at what you do and your clients are coming to you and wanting to do their additional top-ups and things. That's great. Okay. So, I mean, we are in this situation. You're looking for a way forward. So what are some of the things you could do then, Mike? Just reflecting back now, what might you be able to explore that could start to look at alleviating some of this pressure that you're on at the moment?
It just feels like each day I come in, I put my head down and push through it.
Fine.
And I don't pick my head up again until 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the evening.
Okay.
And I just feel like if I could plan that better.
Okay.
So so I'm not just firefighting the whole time.
All right.
So again, I guess probably number one is probably planning what I should do, who I should contact.
Do you mind if I make a few notes just while you're saying these down? Actually,
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah. So plan it. All right. So you could do some planning.
And possibly with Anna to help her plan as well. And again, I think she's a really nice person to work with. As I say, she's not that effective, and I just wonder if she could do a bit more, or maybe be more effective with what she does to take some of the pressure off me.
Okay. So I've got planning. So some sort of planning of is that planning of your time or planning when you say planning for you personally? What do you mean by that?
Planning as a company.
Okay.
To make sure every client is is contacted and their investments done
Right.
before the end of the tax year, before the end of is it the 5th of April?
Fine. Okay.
That's the plan. How we do that, whether it's with me or working with the team or my assistant, etc., is because at the moment I just feel lost. I'm just pushing through it every day.
Okay. Okay. So some personal planning for yourself. So you said about Anna. What's so thoughts on Anna then? Just to get some clarity on what you mean by that.
As I say, she's nervous on the phone, so she doesn't like to take calls or make calls.
Okay.
She's reactionary with the email. So again, she, rather than look for a solution, she'll just forward something to me.
Okay.
So again, I need to look at that. And some of it I do need to look at, or I need to think about before we respond back to a client. But equally, some things that Anna forwards to me, these are just questions that she could easily answer.
Right. Okay. So I've got your own planning to get more on top of. Anna, a little bit of development for Anna. Anything else? What else might you look at?
It's business, but I just want to. I'd like to get some more time back in my life so I could spend more time with my wife. She's
Right.
she has to go through this every year as well, so she knows this is part of the flow of things. But I just think it's not fair.
Okay.
I think sometimes to work till 7 p.m, she would kind of be okay with just for this time of year.
Okay.
But when it's 9 and 10 o'clock,
I know.
or equally, I don't usually work weekends. And last Saturday I was in the office.
Right.
So, and she was really not happy with that. So just to get some more time back for me to be a husband again.
Okay.
As well.
So some planning for yourself. Could look at developing Anna. What else could be done to improve this situation?
Gosh. It's just looking at the planning. It's just having. There's just a few weeks left of this financial year, and then everything will be happy again.
Okay.
And we'll begin this whole year cycle again.
Fine.
So it will be happy again in kind of mid-April.
Okay. So at the start of the session, when we discussed on where you're at now, you said there's a sense of overwhelm. You were pretty much 8 to 10, somewhere in pretty much as an overwhelm. What would be a good step then, as a first step, to actually start working on this week onwards that could actually bring that stress level down? What could be something that you will do now to actually move this forward rather than just being stuck where you're at?
Gosh, that's a good question. I think I'm already working at capacity.
Okay.
So I'm tempted to say Anna.
Right.
I would love to have a second assistant, but I don't have the bandwidth to even think about that.
Okay.
So I'm guessing it would be Anna, something to do with Anna.
Right. Okay. So it's interesting that you've also mentioned there that there's a thought around getting another assistant in to help with the scheduling, calling, things like that.
Possibly, yeah, but this would be
That's in the future.
Maybe something in the future, because just thinking about that, the same as having a, for example, a new website developed. I would love to do this now.
Okay.
I don't have the bandwidth.
Right.
So equally employing another assistant now.
Okay.
I would love to do it at some point in the next year.
Right.
Before the next deadlines.
Fine.
But there's just no bandwidth now.
Fine.
I can't do that.
Okay. So I've got some thoughts, just capturing them there, Mike, to move forward. Is your own personal planning, look at developing Anna, and maybe in the longer term, looking at bringing in somebody else as well to support you even further. There's various ways ahead. So what specifically, though, will you do now as a result of our time today to actually start working on, to improve, take a little bit of the pressure off? What would be a good first step?
Honestly, I'm just reflecting on this, to sit down with Anna.
Okay. Right.
I'm just thinking when she began, because she's lovely and she was recommended. She's a friend of a friend, and I just remember I asked her if she was comfortable with everything, if she needed anything. She said no, I'm fine.
Okay.
And that's as much as I think I've helped her with so far.
Right.
So I don't think we've actually sat down, apart from chatting over a coffee or something. And she seems very capable, but actually doing the specific work I need her to do.
Okay.
I don't think we've ever sat down and had that conversation.
Right. Okay. So we're focusing on Anna being more developed to support you right now.
Yeah.
What specifically would you want or would you like Anna to be able to do now to just take a little bit of work off your table at this moment? What activities?
Gosh, there's so much. Probably three main things. Off the top of my head, I think that the three main things: answering the phone,
Answer phone.
making outbound calls.
Okay.
So contacting clients that maybe haven't been in touch and they do need their investments looked at before the end of the tax year. So this is reaching out, being friendly, having a conversation, and getting an appointment in the diary or getting that. So it's the outbound calls.
Okay.
And then probably emails.
Right.
Again, she's computer savvy, but that's not the same as being email savvy.
Fine. Okay.
She just forwards things at FYI for your information, which gives me another job to do.
Right. So, how does it feel about arranging and doing? How does it feel about actually getting Anna more involved? How does that feel? Does that feel right? There's a strategy to move forward on?
It feels like that's. Yeah, it feels like that's going to be the least challenging.
Okay.
Because we already have the relationship. She already works with me for she's part-time, she's 3 days a week.
Okay.
So I don't know whether she has capacity to maybe jump in another day or just been the 3 days she's with me be more effective. But that is something that we already have that relationship. That's possible.
Great. Okay. So what is the first step? What is the action you're going to take then to get Anna in that situation to help you more? What's the first step?
I think I need to be really clear what I want Anna to do.
Right. Okay.
It sounds a bit basic to say, to really look at what her actual job description is, because I just employed an assistant who made it very easy, but I've never actually, I thought that she would know what she did as an assistant. So for me to be clear on what expectations I have, and then to plan to have a conversation with Anna.
Fine. Okay. So when are you looking to create that role spec or requirements or this? When would you be able to do that?
Wow, this is I could probably do that tonight. It doesn't take long because it's quite specific what I want her to do. Okay. So that's not going to take too long. So probably tonight.
Tonight, define. How would you define? Is there a specific action that you're going to do for yourself in your words?
Yeah, just as a first step, just to plan if there were 3 things that Anna, I would want Anna to do in her role, what would they be? And it's the being more comfortable making outbound calls, taking calls, and handling email.
Okay, fine. So those are the 3 actions you'd like her to be more comfortable with, more effective at.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay, so clear on that. When might you look at, or when will you look at having that discussion with Anna?
I need to look for a time in my diary when I'm free.
Okay.
And that it's one of the days that she's in the office.
Right. Okay.
That probably, off the top of my head, probably Tuesday morning would work, but I need to check with the calendar. But I think Tuesday mornings are usually
Okay.
the best time.
Fine.
Morning before we get crazy busy in the day.
Okay. So, based on what you've said then, you're going to look at creating a job clarity in what you want Anna to do.
Yeah.
And then, subject to the diary, look at holding a meeting with her on Tuesday morning to have this discussion to go through it. And what would the outcome that you'd be hoping to gain from that meeting with Anna? How would you hope that to?
I would hope that she would. The outcome. Personally, I'd like to come away from the meeting feeling relieved,
Okay.
less overwhelmed.
Right.
But I know for that to happen, she needs to have the tools, I think, to. She needs to be really clear on what I'm expecting her to do.
Right.
And probably she needs some tools. I'm just thinking about. I employed somebody a few years ago to book some appointments, and I gave him a script.
Okay.
He didn't follow the script exactly,
All right.
but it gave him an outline of what I wanted him to say when he made the outbound calls. And I just wonder whether something like that
Right. Okay.
would be useful, because Anna does get. She's very chatty and very friendly and very nice on the phone, but she gets almost like lost in the being friendly and chatty on the phone.
Okay.
I think because she's insecure on the phone.
Right.
So probably I'd need to do that, maybe.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just wondering. That sounds like a job in itself.
Fine. All
Writing a script.
All right.
And I don't need a big long script. I'm just thinking about almost like bullet points. Maybe.
Maybe that's much you might need. Okay. Fine. So, creating a clarity of what you wanted to do, arranging a meeting with her on Tuesday morning, and then defining if a script is needed, which might well come out from the conversation.
Yeah, I'm thinking the script is needed.
Fine.
I just at this point again, I'm just thinking my mindset, my bandwidth, overwhelm, whatever you call it. I don't have the time for her to. I don't have the time to have this meeting.
Okay.
And then not get a result.
Fine.
I need it to be more effective.
Okay.
So probably give us some bullet points or be really clear, have a script. And I think to plan what I want to say to her in the meeting in a friendly way, so that I'm really clear, will help.
Great. So by having that in place, how much now on a score of 1 to 10 would you feel in control as opposed to where maybe you are right now?
Out of control. Overwhelm. That probably would be down to a 7 or maybe a 6.
Okay, fine. So this could be a good step towards that. Significant. How inspired are you to take this action?
I can feel, I can almost see there's light at the end of the tunnel. Not just April, but actually before then, Anna actually taking some of this off my shoulders. It just feels, good. I feel,
Great.
This is the way forward.
Okay, that's great. Excellent, Mike. Is there anything else you'd like to clarify before we close the session today?
No, I'm happy. I with firefighting and just putting my head down and going through the day, I this feels like I pulled my head up a little bit and seen the bigger picture, and I have a plan. So I like that. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.